I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name's Colton, and I like to talk about Bibles, books, and theology-related things. Before we get into the topic for today, which you've already been able to deduce from the thumbnail, I do want to let you know that next week, next Wednesday, I get the privilege of joining Tim Frisch from A Frisch Perspective, has a channel here on YouTube, and Nicholas, the layman apologist, has a good following on X, and I've really appreciated both of these brothers and what they've done. And they've started doing this show where they talk about things and they do a YouTube live. Well, next Wednesday, I will be joining the show as a guest live, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, you're going to want to check that out. I am terrible, and I don't remember the time. I know we scheduled it in Eastern time. I'm on Central time, so it'll start a little earlier for me. I'll try and put all that stuff in the description below if you're interested in joining us. It's going to be a good time. Super thankful to get to chat with these brothers. And if you want to see me get canceled, this would be what to watch because, you know, I say that half jokingly. You know, they talk about some controversial things, and I'm not sure, you know, what they're going to talk about this time. They don't only talk about controversial things, but I'll get a chance to weigh in, and it'll be fun to just kind of chat with these brothers. Anyway, on to the topic at hand. This one is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but, you know, speaking of getting canceled, this one is kind of a doozy because I understand that some will have trouble with some of the things that I'm going to say. But the idea is this: what a church's songs say about its theology. And it's just a fact. A church's music, what the congregation sings together, or unfortunately, what they may not sing together and just watch as a performance, says a lot often about their theology. Not always, but, you know, it's not always like, well, if there was a bad song or something like that, that it's going to speak, you know, to the whole. But if a church is consistently putting theologically confusing things in their music or theologically inappropriate things in their music, it often is a reflection of the church itself and what they believe. Now, if you've been following me at all, you know my church and my personal views are the regulative principle of worship when it comes to selecting music. And if you don't know what that is essentially saying we only seek to worship God in our services as he has commanded us, you know, without, you know, adding extras to that. Now, the regulative principle, there are some very expansive views on this. So some would say the regulative principle means that your church can only sing psalms, and that's it. That's not the view I take. We sing hymns of the faith. In a regulative principle church like mine, you're not going to see laser lights. You're not going to see, you know, fog machines. You're going to see, hopefully, people singing together. There will be instruments. You know, we have piano, guitar, things like that. But it's not a concert. That aside, not just how a church does music, but what music, what songs, what lyrics they do say usually quite a bit about the church. So here's what I mean by that. There are a lot of modern worship songs that I think are good. And there are a lot of them that how shall I put this mildly, despise. That's not very mild. Despise, okay? And some of them, you know, are kind of somewhere in the middle. And it's not that they're saying untrue things. It's just sort of unhelpful repetition or vagueness in the songs. So I think we need to be careful of not singing songs that are just sort of in the middle, that are kind of vague. I also think we need to be careful with songs that have a really Jesus is my boyfriend sort of feel to them. And I know that sounds maybe weird to hear me even say that, but there are many songs out there that it's this like deep sort of romanticism behind it without a lot of theological weight. And it's just, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it doesn't really do anything helpful other than stir the emotions. And songs in church are not merely meant to stir the emotions. Notice I said merely, because I think the emotions are a part of it. But songs in church are meant to also communicate truth, deep theological truth that our souls need, not just feeling good, but truth that helps us with just reflecting on the gospel and the truths therein. And that's why you see a lot of churches nowadays anyway that take their theology a little more seriously tend to go back and sing more older hymns. Now, I'm not saying all old hymns are great. There's some that are not so great. But for the most part, there's a lot more, it seems like, to pull from the older catalog than some of the newer stuff. But the point is, in my opinion, it's never really been about style. It's been about really three basic things, and these two fall under really the one. So the two I'm going to give you now kind of fall under the one I'm going to tell you at the end. In my opinion, a healthy church singing together has these two things that fall under one big thing. The first one is, on a very practical way, it needs to be singable for everyone in the congregation. It's not a rock concert. We're not there to worship the band or to just simply sit and take in someone's talent. There's a time and a place for that. But in the church, we are to be singing congregationally together, singing and admonishing and reminding one another of the gospel with songs, hymns, and spiritual songs. So it needs to be singable. And it needs to have theological accuracy. It needs to speak truth about God and not lead into vagueness or falsehood. Third thing, and this is really the overarching point, it needs to glorify God. It needs to be about the glory of God and his people reminding themselves of the truth of God to the glory of God. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what all, bands or worship music that I think is garbage, because I think it would be unfruitful. Instead, and I say unfruitful because I don't want to start a fight with you guys over this stuff. Instead, I want to recommend a couple of newer artists to you that I think are doing really great things in the songs they're producing that are congregational and for the church. Right now, some of my absolute favorite stuff is coming from Matt Boswell and Matt Papa. They've written a lot of songs together. They do great stuff that's very easy for the congregation to sing, and it's theologically rich. I also would recommend Keith and Kristen Getty. I really like the music that they put out. It's solid. I also would recommend City Alight. Really cool stuff coming out of City Alight. One of my favorite songs of all time right now that's taken that place is Jesus Strong and Kind, because my kids love it and it communicates beautiful, simple truth. I think it's what the song Jesus Loves Me should have been. And in other words, I like Jesus Loves Me just fine, but Jesus Strong and Kind is another level, and it's easy for kids to catch on to. So City of Light is great. I also like some of the stuff coming out of Sovereign Grace. I think they've put out some good songs. And that's all I'm going to mention for right now. There's just a few. If you're looking for a good hymn book, the Hymns of Grace hymnal, I have it up here somewhere, but I've actually done a review of it on this channel. It contains some great songs, old and new. But I do think it's something we should be thinking about as Christians. What are our songs communicating about our church? It's vital. It's not just, for kicks. And if we really believe what's happening when we gather on the Lord's Day is an entirety of it is a worship service, then the songs ought to reflect the truth just as much as the preaching does. The preaching is a part of the worship service too. The time in prayer is a part of the worship service too. Observing the Lord's Supper and baptism is a part of the worship service too. So what our songs communicate is important. Anyway, rant over. That's all I had to say for today. I was feeling kind of whimsical and just wanted to talk about this. I may lose a lot of you because of this, and I don't know, maybe not. I just thought I'd have fun. So thank you so much for watching this video today, guys. If you did enjoy it and I didn't run you off, give it a like if you don't mind, and subscribe and comment all the things. I know some of you get annoyed by us reminding you of that, but hey, sorry. It's just a reminder. It's there. Do with it what you will. I'm not forcing you, just kindly asking. And yeah, that's going to do it. Don't forget to tune in next Wednesday when I get to hang out with Tim and Nicholas. Would love to see you there in the chat. And I'll see you in the next video, if it's that one or one before that. Bye.